Hello, and welcome to the Men's Movement Podcast. I'm your host, Vince Casey. This is a podcast where we explore the rising culture in men's healing and interview top thought leaders about the positive shift that is occurring in the masculine consciousness. The Men's Movement Podcast is in partnership with We Society. We Society, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Today's guest is Andrew Huvaere. Andrew is the founder of Life Force Alchemy and Rising Brotherhood. He also leads the Savage Challenge out of Arizona. And he just recently added the title of father to his repertoire. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Vince. Thank you for having me. Stoked to be here.
Yeah, congratulations on the birth of your son. What name did you give him?
So we gave him the name Rowan.
Nice. What does Rowan stand for?
So Rowan is the name of the mountain ash tree. So it's we've had a strong connection to Ireland. His spirit kind of came through while my wife and I were visiting out there, and we were thinking about names, and I just started to go into the trees. Yeah, the Rowan has got some cool lore in the European kind of Celtic and Nordic philosophies, and it's like the protector tree.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Was Rowan something that you and your wife were calling in, or did he come up and sneak up on you guys?
Yeah, so he was completely planned. Um, we thought we were gonna have a girl first because I was like the big energy that was coming through, and yeah, and then we were surprised it was a boy, and it was all in divine alignment.
That's beautiful. So how's mama doing after the birth?
Yeah, she's doing great. We're 8 weeks out now. She's recovered. She's getting back into her rhythms, slowly integrating back into work, and yeah, moving about and getting back into her body and all that good stuff. So yeah, we've been enjoying the past 2 months just fully in this period of new parenthood, you know.
There's nothing like that in the world. What has fatherhood unlocked for you? I know this is your first child. What's been coming online for you that wasn't really there before?
Man, there's been a lot. Um, I feel like now I can like truly understand the meaning of sacrifice. Like now that's really become apparent to me. There's this yeah, it's not so much about me anymore. The things that I desire to do or want to do isn't really a priority now. And there's so many moments where I have to put that down and kind of, sacrifice that for my family, for my son, for my wife. So yeah, there's a lot of, sacrifice to make sacred. There's a lot of that letting go of that part of myself and being content and okay with that and tending to the family instead. You know, another big thing has been prioritization, optimization of my time. That's been huge. Now there's only so much time in the day for me to work on the projects that I care about, to do the things that I need to do for myself, to take care of myself. And now I'm finding like when I do have like this window of time to get work done, I don't know how long it's going to last. So I've really got to be efficient with my time spent within that pocket. And I feel like it's just, yeah, leveling up my capacity to get things done and really be on top of, well, what's important here, what's most important, what really needs to get accomplished, and like knocking those things out where typically I would spend a lot more time in that space. Now it's just like, oh, it's here. Okay, get it done and take care of business. So that's been a big piece that I'm feeling. There's greater capacity coming online with less sleep and still having to tend and do all these things in life, take care of things. Um, yeah, and I guess like the one of the biggest kind of things has been like this time dilation that happens when I'm with Rowan. It's like the moment is eternal, nothing else matters. The phone's down, I'm just like fully engaged, present with him. And then I look at the clock and it's like, oh wow, the day's like already over. Um, it's interesting how like time slows down, but it also speeds up. So it's like it's very kind of psychedelic time dilating experience, this parenthood.
Yeah, I hear you. Definitely hear you on the sleep depth too. That's a big thing to overcome.
hmm
Well, I feel like it's been a minute since we last connected. You were facilitating out at Sacred Sons in Washington, and one of the big takeaways I took, that was my first event, was just all the breath work that we were doing. I think that if we would have only focused on breath work that weekend, I still would have left that place more grounded and more present than I had been in a long time. Well, what is it about breath work from your experience that is so powerful in connecting us and grounding us?
Yeah. So yeah, many years in this journey of working with the breath, I think over a decade now. And I was introduced into it through like the yogic path. So yeah, my background comes from like pranayam practices and it's evolved over the years. And I've done all the different types of practices, the Wim Hof, the holotropics, to the basic breathing exercises. And, you know, as I've developed this relationship, I think that's really why it's so clarifying and so grounding. It's like it's this relationship to this life force, oh, this connection to life, right? It's like we come into this world, we have that first breath, that gasping, crying breath. And then when we leave, there's like that death rattle, that final breath. It's like this connective thread that weaves us through this experience of being here, incarnated in the flesh. So I think there's just something very primal there. It's like the very first teacher, and it's the way that we get sent off. And simply by like tuning into your breath, bringing awareness to your breath, regardless of what kind of practice you're doing, the more presence and engagement we can bring to that process of breathing, the more grounding it's going to be. It's we purify, we detoxify through the breath. We when we focus on the act of breathing, we're bringing our awareness into this present moment. So we're going to be like fully here, engaged with this visceral experience of breathing and being in the body. So yeah, I think like the most important thing that I've learned is not so much the techniques anymore, or like creating space for a breathwork practice, but it's more so this developing this relationship to the breath and having this deeper understanding of the importance of it, why I should draw my awareness to it throughout the day. Why should I breathe in through my nose at this time and out through the mouth? Why should I take a deep breath like in those little moments in the day by bringing conscious awareness to my breath? It just draws everything back in and it brings me to like fully be in this present moment to experience then what needs to be experienced, processed within my own body, within my own life experience. So really the breath is forever the teacher. And yeah, I love it.
As you were talking about that, I realized you probably saw your son take his first breath. Did y'all have him at home?
Yeah, so we did a birth center experience and yeah, I had the honor and privilege to deliver him to my wife. And yeah, it was the most magical experience ever. Like closest I've ever been to like God in the universe. It was psychedelic, it was the most magical moment. And I got to experience that, of him having the first breath, me holding him, the first hands to touch him, opening his eyes for the very first time, so many firsts there. And yeah, I was just weeping and so much beauty and magic and divinity and like primalness to that moment as well. Like, it's like I knew exactly what to do. And it was like, yeah, it was the most epic experience of my life. What a gift.
As someone that focuses on your breath and coaches it, How often would you say you're consciously breathing throughout the day? Has it become rhythmic or?
Yeah, I mean that's it's interesting because like as I'm talking about this like relation to the breath, I don't know how much time actually is there, but it's a lot now as I've developed it over the years. And I still take time each day, my personal practice, is sitting there and just with my awareness on my breath and just being still and silent and breathing. And I could be locked in and focused on that. And I do that every morning for 10 minutes at least, and there's times where I still drop in for like a breath work practice or I do some type of pranayam or, this past weekend we had a men's weekend and I got to participate in the breath work ceremony and I did, an hour of the holotropic style breathing and I still drop into those spaces, right? But like each day and each waking moment, there's this relationship is so solid with the breath that, even while I'm here connecting and talking to you, there's like times where my awareness drops back in and, I'm breathing through my nose and I'm just connecting to that feeling, that sensation of the breath. And I think it's just because I've trained it and been so disciplined and devoted to engaging with it in so many different practices and ways over the years that yeah, I'm mindful around the breath constantly. So I can't really give you a number, but I imagine, it's at least like, I don't know, probably a couple hours a day. I'm aware of breathing because there's all these little breaths in between that it's like I'm consciously taking that breath.
Yeah, I'm a part of a men's circle here in Eugene, and we do a sync up with breath work. What is it about the conscious breathing all together that connects everyone?
Yeah, so I think when we all come together and we have a collective intention and engaging with the breath as that connective intention, we're all focused upon the same thing. And and again, for me, it's like, what's the essence of breath? It's the prana, it's the life force. It's this connective thread to life. Well, if we're in a circle and we're all drawing upon that thread together and we're bringing our conscious awareness to that, even if it's just a few breaths, and we're all breathing together, inhaling together, exhaling together. We're all like synchronizing to the same rhythm and we're engaging in the same exchange of life force that there's going to be like a almost like a tuning in for our nervous system in a way where we're all kind of like dialing into the same frequency in you know we're being calibrated and we're calibrating to the same thing and we're all calibrating at the same rhythm at the same time. So I imagine through that energetically, there's like a vaster connection being formed to that collective group energy through that practice.
Yeah, I think I sort of turned to breath work earlier on because I was very stressed out and definitely dealt with a lot of anxiety. And it seems like deep, restful breaths kind of send the message to your brain that, everything is fine. Like whenever we tense up and have that fight or flight response kind of coursing through our body, we're sending the message that we need to run or we need to do something or we need to be working harder or faster. I think that breath for me has just been a way to kind of subconsciously tell my body that everything is fine.
Mm.
And I think there's definitely a lot of men out there that could use that message in particular. Where's a good place to get started with breath work if you're just on the tip of trying it out and just want to get started?
What I always recommend to people is be curious with your own breathing and start just to engage with your own breath in and out through the nose. And like what we're sharing, I mean, I got into it for the same reasons you did. It's a lot of it is like this anxious or this energy, and we find the outlet through the breath as a way to relax and to integrate perhaps what's occurring in our lives. Best way to do it is have a short inhale and then make the exhalation long. Like very simple. Like just breathe in that type of ratio, like one part in, two parts out. 4 seconds in, 8 seconds out. If you do that and you just count your own breath and you do that for like a minute, you're going to feel different. You're going to feel more relaxed. It's going to calm your nervous system down. You're going to slow down. That's like, you know, we have it in us already. It's already entrained into our system. We have the ability to do that. If you're exercising and you're running up a mountain, you're going to be taking in more air than you're breathing out. Your body's just going to naturally do that because you need more energy. But if you need to relax and slow down, you focus on that exhalation, you lengthen out that exhalation, you're going to relax, you're going to slow down. It's going to lower your blood pressure. It's going to, help you integrate whatever may be stressful at the time. Um, I think that's the best place to start is just be curious and explore your own breath. And then you can find the yogas, you can go to the breath workshops and all that kind of stuff for an experience. But what's really going to take you the distance is developing a relationship with your own breath and yeah, cultivating that within your own time and space and find a way to lead yourself through that.
All right, we're going to take a pause for a word from our partner, and we'll be right back with more of the Men's Movement Podcast.
This is not an I thing, it's a we thing, it's a team thing.
Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Kareem Manuel over at We Society, and I want to encourage everyone to check us out at wesociety.co. That's wesociety.co. We are much more than a clothing brand. We're a lifestyle. We are a movement. This is a revolution. Our ethos is we are the ones we've been waiting for. So don't wait anymore. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, anywhere you connect at wesociety.co to keep up with the latest innovations, new drops, and be part of our healing movement. Make sure you use the code Men's Movement Podcast for 15% off any purchase. And we'll be sure to see you there. Remember, we are the ones we've been waiting for. We're not waiting anymore. Talk to you soon. Peace.
And we're back with Andrew Huvaere from Life Force Academy. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about today was how to stay in alignment with cannabis and tobacco usage once you've started to walk down a more conscious path. I think that a lot of men, after they start doing this work, want to start making some changes in their life. And usually that's one of the first things that come up. I was curious if you had, I know you've partaken in both and now you've chosen a sober lifestyle. What was the motivating factor that led you to lay down those substances for good?
Yeah, for me, it was, my own health and well-being, especially starting to cultivate this family now, become a family man. Those have been great teachers in my life, the cannabis and the tobacco. They've been masterful teachers within my journey. And I've spent many years on and off engaged with both of them. And yeah, there just came a time where, I felt like I've learned everything I could from them. And I was experiencing, I guess, perhaps the more negative side effects or the unwanted side effects of engaging with them often, whether that be, yeah, my own cardiovascular system not as strong as it used to be, dependency upon the said substance. Um, with the psychoactive cannabis, it can be tricky at times and create some type of behaviors that are unwanted or unwarranted. I'd experience paranoia at times, or I would get yeah, I'd get lazy and procrastinate with my life. My memory was actually the main piece, I think, that really helped me understand like why I didn't desire to engage with cannabis anymore. This concept around what it does to your memory and as someone that is desiring to consciously create, a great life, a beautiful life, and do many great things in this life, memory is a core piece to that equation of manifesting that and following through. And every time I engaged with it, it felt like I was resetting my memory function. And it was like, oh, I had to start over again. And I think that's like one of the things that's like kind of overlooked with cannabis. I'm constantly, working on imprinting, you know, my specific energetics into this world day in, day out through discipline, through consistency, through repetition. And then like I'd smoke and then it's like, oh, start over again in that process when I'm really trying to build something potent and powerful. It needs to be compounded over time, many, many times. So I think that's really what kind of, yeah, I started just learning more deeply about how it affects our memory. And yeah, it's a very important function to have as a human being. And I didn't want to interfere with that process anymore. So yeah, I think a lot of it just had to do where it's like, they're teachers, they're medicines, but any medicine can become a poison as well. Um, Once the relationship goes out of balance or the relationship becomes corrupted and we begin to abuse said relationship. And tobacco is like a very masculine plant, and cannabis is a very very feminine plant, right? Like in order to get the cannabis that we like to smoke, you have to like take the male plant out of the room, or else you don't get the flower. You don't get to smoke that plant. So there's something very like the manifestation of the cannabis plant is like representative of like the divine feminine in itself. And what does it say when we abuse that relationship as well? What does it say about our relationship to the feminine? What does it say? Like I feel like it plays on a lot of our shadows. It can be very manipulative. It can be very trickster type of energy. So yeah, we can think that we're in a good space with it when really we're being kind of manipulated and tricked by the entity of the plant. So yeah, it's like I desire to be like in command and in control of my life and do great things in this life by removing these external dependencies. I become more sovereign and become more of the master of my own domain. And that's what I'm truly interested in is this sense of being like fully self-sufficient, self-reliant, and very sustainable in, how I move through this world. And I think that's what eliminating certain external factors and comforts and behaviors do for me. It's a practice of reducing myself down to a more powerful essence of who I truly am and how I desire to move through this world.
Yeah, I hear you on the trickster thing. I think the first time I partook in cannabis, I was about 21 years old, and I just felt like this overwhelming sense of like music coming through me where I wanted to play music and I wanted to write poetry. And I kind of just like tapped into this inner artist. And I think I've always associated cannabis with that. But now in my 40s, when I smoke cannabis, I definitely tap into more of that paranoia energy. Sometimes my body shakes, like I get like little convulsions after smoking marijuana. So there's definitely a different relationship being formed out of that. I still kind of have a relationship with it. I've definitely, one of the reasons I asked you this question is A, because I respect your opinion, and B, because I've always kind of been curious on what is the purpose of taking that extra step into sobriety. Like I probably use cannabis maybe once or twice a month. It's usually on the weekends. It's also usually one of the only times where I kind of feel like I set the world down and the thing that have been a weight on my shoulders that week or that weekend or whatever is one of the only times I feel like I completely set that down. And it usually does kind of accompany alcohol as well. So I feel like on one hand, because of where I've come from, I'm doing really good to only have a relationship with cannabis once or twice a month. But at the same time, I'm also curious, like, what does complete sobriety look like? And what is the benefit of just completely laying the substance down?
Yeah, I feel you, man. I completely resonate with what you're saying. When I remember when I was engaging with it more frequently, it was a source of inspiration for my creativity, my writing, my poetry. Yeah, and I think I became dependent upon it to access those certain states. And I wanted to prove to myself that I can still tap into those states without it as well. And yeah, it took some time and effort to do. It's like I had to relearn how to find this place, but all the plant's doing is connecting these neural pathways within myself that already exist there. It's like I can take the psychedelic and then it taps me into a certain function. It releases chemicals that are already within my body to have this experience. So I really just desired to want to cultivate that from a place of sobriety because again, this idea of being, I've got everything I need within me. I'm fine the way I am. I don't need this external thing to make me feel any sort of way. That's what drove my journey to figuring out, okay, how can I tap into these states without it? And what would it be like? And yeah, it's different, but there's a sense of like purity in the sense of my consciousness that I now get to experience those crafts or when the poetry comes through. It hits different. It's different now. The creativity is more grounded, maybe. Um, but yeah, there's, through the journey of giving those substances up and being sober, I've tapped into like another sense of joy and creativity. Um, there's a deeper sense of connection there that is not cloudy, that is grounded, that is more pure. So it's not that, one is better than the other. It's just a different experience. And it may be a little bit more challenging to get to those spaces, but it's achievable and you can do it. And there's a new behavior, a new pattern, a new rhythm that must be adapted in order to achieve that. I have nothing. There's nothing. I don't have anything wrong with the plants. And a lot of probably a lot of the music that I love to listen to. It was created by people using substances and cannabis and alcohol and stuff. Like a lot of great things come from engaging with that plant creatively, and I've made a lot of great things as well under the influence. But yeah, again, for me, it's just there's this sense of I can tap into that without that, and I want to prove to myself I can. And that's what inspired the journey, I guess, on a deep core level, is an experiment.
Yeah. I know a lot of times men in particular are using substances to kind of repress negative feelings, like hate or fear or resentment. Whenever you quit these substances cold turkey, or I'm not exactly sure the method you used, did you start to feel some of those things being triggered inside of yourself? And what did you do to guide those to the proper place?
Yeah, for sure. So I think, yeah, whenever we, remove some type of behavior, there's got to be something in its place, right, to help us kind of process and integrate. And, I'm grateful for, the tools, the technologies, the teachings that I've explored over the last decade. It left me equipped with, oh, I can go into breath work. I can go into journaling. I can go and exercise. I can go out into nature and find ways to support the process of, you know, whatever's coming up. Because oftentimes that's what we're doing with the substances is we're looking to numb ourselves out. We're looking to escape some aspect of our reality. We're looking for a quick fix, like a dopamine hit of some sort. So once we remove that from the equation, there has to be something there to support whatever is underneath the surface, whatever we're covering up, whatever we're hiding from. We're going to have to confront that. We're going to have to meet that part of ourself and engage with it. And usually that means, feeling the depths of whatever desires to be felt, doing the thing that's going to provide us the response that we want, which is oftentimes not a quick fix. It's going to take some effort and it's probably going to be uncomfortable, like working out or hiking up a mountain or expressing ourselves in a way that maybe we don't want to express ourselves in. Like it's life is going to present to us another way to move through that energy. And I believe that that's, life showing us the way to grow, to move through this world in order for us to have the experience that we deeply desire to have, like on a deep core level, not on a surface egoic level, but on like something greater within me is guiding me to engage with these pieces in life because they're forging me and forming me into who I deeply desire to become. So yeah, I think, to have support systems in place to, if quitting something brings up a lot of anxiety, oftentimes with a habit like smoking, like it's got to do with the relationship with the breath as well. So it's like, okay, if I'm going to not be smoking, then maybe I just need to take some deep breaths instead throughout the day, and maybe I purse my lips and pretend like I'm smoking and turn that into a breathing practice to help me get over the oral fixation that's happening. Maybe like there's ways for us to help adapt one behavior into the next. And I think that's what I've used, especially with smoking. It was I have different types of breath work practices that I used that helped me to quit smoking. And that's really what I heavily leaned on was that bringing conscious awareness to my breath and using different techniques to kind of give me a response to where like I got a craving, I want to do something about it. Okay, I'm going to sit and breathe in this manner for 3 minutes and then boom, craving's gone. Like, cool, I just kicked that craving. Then it's like now I've got to go through a few like 2 weeks usually is what it is for me, is like those first 2 weeks are hell. And then after that, it gets much easier. And all it did was bring me deeper into the practices, the tools, the knowledge, and the wisdom that I've learned over the years and how to integrate those into my day-to-day life so that I didn't reach for a substance. I didn't reach for the quick fix. I did the more sustainable, uncomfortable route, and I overcame it.
Yeah, way to nail that. Conscious breathing is a big part of, I think, what calms people with the cigarette smoking.
Hmm.
I've definitely had that sort of curiosity in the back of my head as well. Um, well, you kind of already started slipping into it, but what would you tell men? Say I'm a man that just came back from an event and I'm kind of waking up to a few things in my life, and I feel like probably cutting out alcohol or smoking is something I need to start working on. What type of advice would you give to a man that was beginning to work on that process?
Yes, I'd invite that man to be curious and to be gentle on himself. Like there's so many times where I was like, I'm gonna quit on this day and try to be rigid about it and then fail at that process. And then I would end up shaming myself or feeling guilt and creating more hurdles and more emotions to process. Because like I had an idea on how I was gonna bring this to an end and I wasn't able to meet it. And for me, with these types of things, I feel like they die and fall away naturally on their own terms. And yeah, we want to intervene and try to do it on our terms, what we think is right. But oftentimes life has another plan and we don't understand what that plan is. So I think, what's supportive is to be around other men that are consciously engaging in developing themselves in growth, that, have similar passions and hobbies as you do, where you can be honest and vulnerable in these relationships with these men. I think that's really what's going to give you a level of support and potentially accountability in order to bring through these changes in your life that you deeply desire. And then to work on, yeah, engaging with, you know, different types of disciplines and changing behaviors and being gentle on yourself, like one step at a time and staying at it. And, if your heart is pure, if your intentions are pure, you'll reach that point where one day you'll wake up and you're like, I don't need this anymore. If that's what you deeply desire, if you just continue chipping away at it. And, it's just be mindful around this, like shaming or guilting yourself because you failed or you had a misstep or you quit for a week and then you picked it back up again. Like that stuff's gonna happen. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. How many times have I done that? I can't even count on my fingers and toes how many times I've navigated that portal, and it's gonna happen. So I think if you go into it recognizing that, eventually you'll get to a space where you've integrated enough healthy habits, you have enough support and connection around you, and then one day you might just feel different and you're ready to meet the challenge of giving that thing up or moving forward and stepping into a new direction in your life and not looking back. And when that day comes, you'll have done the training, you will have the techniques, you will have the confidence within yourself to overcome whatever obstacle that you have. And that's really what we're doing is training ourselves within these brotherhoods, within these relationships and these connections so that we have the tools, we have the wisdom, we have the confidence to overcome those things when that day comes. And you can make that choice and then you can get the accountability. You can call up your buddy and tell him like today I'm having a hard time and I really want to smoke, but I don't feel like I need it anymore, but I just wanted to share that and express that with you. And maybe that's what helps you get over that hurdle that you are meeting within that 2 week window of it being really tough. And yeah, I think that's what's most important is finding those relationships in your life and then cultivating the habits and the disciplines that are going to support you to become, the man that you desire to become.
Yeah, that's great advice. I think that shame is such a big kicker in all this. A lot of men want to quit smoking and maybe they quit for 2 days and then they picked it back up. And the first instinct is just to kick yourself for doing that. But then you don't celebrate the small win that was the 2 days. And next time I want to do three and we're going to see how that feels. And yeah, it's a pace. And I think that you nailed it. Thank you so much. Well, I think that we're getting towards the end of our time here. I just wanted to congratulate you again on little baby Rowan. Wish you and your wife all the luck and success in the world and bringing this beautiful human into the world. I just want to honor you for your attention to fatherhood and just send you out with a big blessing. I know you've got a lot of different offerings for the brothers out there. Would you like to tell us the best way to get a hold of you and how to look into some of this if we get curious about your work?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, for the blessings. And yeah, I'm really stoked on this, new chapter within my life. It's really expansive and beautiful. I think the best way I do a lot of different things. I have a
Yeah.
lot of projects in my wheelhouse. Um, if men want to see more about the other individual offerings that I have, if they go to andrewhuvaere.com, they'll find, kind of my bio, and then they'll see a whole list of, links to all the things that I do, the Savage Challenge, Rising Brotherhood, AI Biz System, Sacred Ireland Activation Tour. Like it's all on there. Life Force Alchemy is my main account on Instagram. That's a good place to connect with me and find me as well. Um, but yeah, savagechallenge.com, andrewhuvar.com has it all linked there. That's probably the best place to go.
Gotcha. Yeah. And one thing I was curious about the AI biz, that kind of threw me off. I knew all the other stuff you had going on. What's the AI about?
Yeah, so this has been a little passion project of mine for the past couple of years. I had that Chat GPT moment like 2 years ago where I was like blown away and I was like, what is this? This is going to change everything in my life, in the world. Like I need to bring some attention to this kind of stuff. And yes, I've been kind of like I've always been kind of a geek and loved computers. So I've been playing around with AI stuff for the past 2 years and running multiple businesses. What a lot of men in my circles, what they've struggled with is organization, optimization, like the front and back end of business stuff. So I've created a software where I've essentially built a business in a box template and I've integrated AI tools into it so that I can share that with others to help them supporting men and women putting their gifts out into the world and, giving them an all-in-one system that's super easy to use and saves them tons of money and it makes it, much easier to kind of adapt their own brand and their offerings into and get them set up really quick so that they don't have to spend the hundreds of hours that I spent to figure out how to do this and create the automations and figure out how to do the templates for all this and build the funnels and the communities and this and that. So I've just created a software where that's all pre-built and there's a community along with it called Accelerating Innovation. And that's how I teach people how to use these AI tools for video production, for content creation, for all sorts of different stuff. So that's the new project that I've been working on because I don't travel anymore for men's work. So I've leaned heavily into now being an AI consultant and then supporting small businesses and entrepreneurs with cultivating their own businesses to help them generate more leads and scale.
Nice. Have you asked ChatGPT about how to lead a men's circle or how to facilitate a men's event or anything like that?
No, I haven't. I haven't done that yet. Actually, I
I'd
need
be
to do
curious
that
to see what
now.
it came up
I'm
with.
curious.
All right. Well, let me know what you find out. Yeah. Well, that's our show today. I'd like to thank Andrew for coming on. I'd like to thank our sponsor over at We Society, and I'd like to thank all of you for listening. Until next time, I'm your host, Vince Casey.
Love over fear. Sometimes people you love will project their own fears and limitations onto you. That ain't yours to take on board. Always choose love over fear. Trust your intuition. Your intuition is that feeling you get when you know something's right for you. It's your internal compass leading you in the direction you're meant to go in. Trust that. I disconnect from chaos and all negative influences around me. Open up my heart and mind to know that it's possible for me to co-create my dreams into reality. I trust the universe, I trust myself, and I trust my intuition to lead the way. I am loved, I am guided, and the universe has my back. I believe in myself, I invest in myself. I focus on my vision, I listen to my intuition, and I take aligned action. Everything I'm dreaming of is coming true one day. I cut out all the hate and I elevate my state. I follow higher guidance, let love lead the way. Choose love over fear, always in every way. Choose love over fear. Choose love over fear. Love over fear. I choose love over fear, always in every way. Choose love over fear. Choose love over fear. Love over fear. I choose love over fear, always in every way. I disconnect from chaos and all negative influences around me. I open up my heart and mind to know that it's possible for me to co-create my dreams into reality. I trust the universe, I trust myself, and I trust my intuition to lead the way. I am loved, I am guided, and the universe has my back. I believe in myself, I invest in myself. I focus on my vision, I listen to my intuition, and I take aligned action. Choose love over fear. Choose love over fear. Love over fear. I choose love over fear, always in every way. Choose love over fear. Choose love over fear. Love over fear. I choose love over fear, always in every way. I believe in myself, I invest in myself. I focus on my vision, I listen to my intuition, and I take aligned action. True love.